hope you had a chance to spend some quality time on your own before I rang you up.
Ouais, des dindons.
Your mate, Alejandra, said the two of you were here on holiday? She had nothing but praise for you, by the way. Said you almost single-handedly turned things around for her in Cuatro Colinas. Well, naturally I have pretty high expectations, but let's take our time getting to know each other first. I'll admit that it wasn't just her recounting your heroic antics that made me pick up the phone. She said you were, and I quote, stoic, practical, and probably born out in the bush somewhere. Just what I was looking for, in other words.
Ah, je suis trop content. Elle est bien, vous, la 303 là, elle fait de 4 à 8. Et elle fait quoi en coup? Coups en plus.
You know what a track is? Evidence you're not alone out there.
Jet, hein. C'est sûr.
Not far now. We built these outposts in the early 90s. They got the works, repurposed materials, solar roofs, rainwater tanks. That was back when people used to just call you a hippie. Now everything's sustainable, clean, green, eco-friendly. Hippies? Ha! Try trailblazers. And good for the environment doesn't have to mean bad for your back. It's pretty cozy inside. Go on, take a look.
Ouais. Hein? Attends, laisse-moi tranquille, je suis en train de chasser des chamois.
Ouais, m'a fait flipper le truc là.
Bah franchement je suis pas déçu, le jeu il est un peu plus réactif, la carte elle a pas l'air de bugger, c'est plus fluide, le graphisme il est plus joli, quand tu vas dans le menu ça bug moins, franchement je suis pas déçu pour le moment et la carte elle est très très belle. Ouais mais pour l'instant de toute façon je vais rester au moins 5 heures en solo gros, je suis pas sûr que je vais faire le tournoi ce soir pour te dire. De toute façon je pense pas qu'il y a grand monde qui va vouloir faire le tournoi ce soir.
40 000 elle coûte la nouvelle arme, je peux même pas l'acheter.
Et la nouvelle arme elle a l'air stène hein.
Ah, la mission hein.
Oh.
Nice and tight now. Wouldn't want it coming off right when you've got a shot lined up.
T'as vu Jam, elle est cool la map, t'es dessus là?
Ouais.
T'as vu c'est sympa déjà il y a des arbres différents. Et tu remarqueras pour mettre le trépied, il y a des arbres où tu peux trop choisir la hauteur où tu veux te mettre, c'est bien. Genre attends regarde. Par exemple sur Star là, comment tu peux choisir sur la grande distance où tu peux le mettre. Ouais. Non, ouais. Par contre, ouais. Vas-y, ça roule. Vas-y, ça marche. Je viendrai en petit loup alors. Attends, je vais ramener de la vidéo. Putain, j'ai fait que entendre du gibier, mais j'en ai pas encore vu. Ah, si, ça y est là. Attends, voilà, il y a un troupeau carrément, mon cousin. Oh, trop beau. 4 faciles. L4 facile, je suis sûr qu'il a albinos en plus, la tête de moi. Attends, attends, je crois que je vais taper. C'est un quoi? C'est quoi? Ah là là, faut que j'y aille à la... Non, c'est un niveau 3 en plus.
Let's get you that view first. There's the lookout tower, just up ahead.
Ça c'est bon. Par contre, il va falloir que je trouve un moyen d'installer la petite télé dans ma chambre à côté de la grande. Je sais pas comment on va le faire.
Là, il est là.
On verra. Ça, tu seras là.
J'ai ramené une rallonge, je suis multiprise.
T'as de la place dans ta bagnole là?
Just take that in. Spectacular, isn't it? This eastern area is all rolling hills and conifers.
Vite fait,
There's a line
ouais,
of
si, ouais.
mountains in the center of the reserve, and native beech forest, and a lot of rain on the other side. Right, so remember Josh's little prank? This place doesn't receive a lot of government
Là, c'est
funding,
trop
unfortunately.
stylé.
And a
Écoute,
couple
tu
of
vois la
years
gueule
ago,
des
we
bails
were
ou
running
pas?
out of money for field research, and the outpost
Là, je suis
really
content, par contre, je suis vraiment content.
running low. The
Attends,
outposts
avec
have
quelqu'un
ammo
peu de
of
chance,
all
j'ai fait
kinds
un
and
diamant, un
besides.
truc comme ça. Oh, blanc et
So I
brun.
guess you
Tu vois,
could
j'ai
say
déjà
we
fait une
made a
fourrure.
deal with the devil, the Hollywood devil to be exact. Long story short, they
non.
just wrapped up filming for the final movie they were contracted to do.
Non, parce que là, les
Some
trucs comme ça, en fait,
fantasy
moi,
thing
mon père, il va les
shining
construire,
blade
les trucs
or
comme ça, en
shivering
bois et
dagger
tout,
or
là.
something.
Ouais.
Now let me check. Ah, resplendent sword. I'll send you the blurb they gave me.
Regarde,
My
vite.
nephew tells me it's a big deal, but I'd certainly never heard of it before this. Tricky
Ouais.
little fella, eh? If at first you don't
Blanc et
succeed
brun.
and all that, you'll get the next one. But yeah, as nice as it is that Te Awaroa's beauty is up on the silver screen for all to see, it's come with its share of problems, to say the
Vas-y à
least.
toutes.
The bigwigs left in a hurry, and we got left with a bunch of basically intact movie sets scattered here and there all over the reserve. Well, I'm telling you all of this because Josh just rang me up and said that he spotted another set on his way back. Not far from where I wanted you to try filming your first hunt. Can I trouble you to go clear it out?
Vas-y à toutes.
We can't run the risk of any of the props from the film featuring in our footage. Cheers.
Moi, quand je passe par l'émission,
Bah, moi, si je fais l'émission, je vais faire tout après, comme ça, des chats. Des espèces de putains de ça, c'est trop stylé. Ça fait plaisir, tu sais, de gibier, découvrir.
speed to it. This isn't even the worst of it.
T'es sur la route pour aller récupérer la
Right,
caméra.
let's take it one by one. Just bundle them into crates and I'll get someone to swing by later and transport them out of the reserve. Are those real oranges? Good enough to eat, eh?
Déblayer la scène de tournage.
I hope they didn't have an actual fire in that thing. Imagine if some silly townie kid had wandered over here and decided it would be a good idea. Quite the medieval fear. Looks more than a bit incongruous out here if you ask me. That's the last of them. What's that note?
Il y a que ça en nouvelle arme en fait.
Props list.
Ouais,
Foam
mais c'est
statue
énorme.
of haughty elf standing proud, 9 foam warriors, 8 golden goblets, 3 green screens. This reads like a Christmas carol. See any of those? Bit dodgy. Townies must have been up here. Well, even though this isn't our mess to clean up, I should probably ask around and see if anyone knows what's happened to the missing props. The last thing we need is to get blamed for this. Maybe they did a very selective sweep. I'll see if anyone has a bigwig's numbers. Thanks for your help, Ihor. Let's move on. We got a little overly reliant on these tentpole releases. Well, I say more tents and fewer releases. Does that work? Nah, you're right. Before you head off and film your hunts, first we've got to set the scene, so to speak. The marketing team's looking for some photos for the reserve website. Something to give people a taste of what this place has to offer. Now that we've dealt with that bloody mess, you think you could head over to Lake Wakaiti and snap a few shots for us? There's a willow tree there growing right out of the water that all the influencers or whatever they call themselves go bonkers for. It does make for a good photo op, I'll give it that.
Ah, c'est ça que t'as fait faire tout à l'heure, Jeanne. C'est des trucs dans la maison que t'as fait faire, non?
Ouais. Oh.
So deserted in about 10 years. Ah, it's lovely actually. Even if I can only experience it through you. We used to camp out here when I was little. Tramp over from the other side. Me and a gaggle of other kids carrying backpacks bigger than our whole bodies. Not much of that lifestyle left these days. I miss it sometimes. That'll do. It's looking well. We had some hoon try to saw off one of the branches a few weeks ago. Can you believe? Well, luckily someone managed to talk him out of it. Sometimes wedding parties will have the brides come up and sit on it. Wade right into the water and soak those dear dresses. That tree is 80 years old. Started off as a stray branch nailed to a fence. It's a tribute to tenacity if you ask me. Right, now for our next destination. Head down to the shoreline. There's a set of huge boulders there that have to be seen to be believed. I know what you're thinking. She's showing me some rocks. But trust me on this one. situation. I'll get back to you when you arrive. Just gonna head off for a minute and make some tea.
La map.
Ouais, ça va. À chaque fois, j'ai galère par contre. Hein.
Ah ouais?
Ouais. J'arrive à avoir son cul. Une petite colline, un truc. Ouais.
That's better. Nothing like a good old Kiwi herbal blend to sort the head out. Hey, look at this. Couldn't help themselves, could they? One last hurrah before we shut the place down. Okay, that looks manageable. This really can't wait, mate. There's a little blue penguin population nesting not far from here, and they'll gladly take this for food. Let's clean this up and take the photo. Then we can talk hunting again. Well, as you can imagine, being featured in a host of box office hits has done wonders for our profile with tourists. Problem is, a lot of the people who come are just here to take a few photos, dump a heap of rubbish, and then leave unceremoniously. So we end up with messes like this one. I'd like to say that we've become the victim of our own success, but that's letting me off the hook. Right, there should be a stand over on the other end of the beach with rubbish bags and a picker. We went to all the trouble of installing these, and they still couldn't be bothered.
Genre, tu dois prendre l'outil de ramassage. Non. Ah,
Looks
non.
like they had quite the little feast. These kids would have nightmares if you showed them some of what I've seen out here. Birds with stomachs so full of plastic they can't eat. Yeah, let's pick over by the stand. South Island University. I knew it. Way too many people around here who have never respected this place. That's a perfectly usable tent. No sense wasting it. Anyway, I've had enough of this. Now we need to ensure that we're attracting the right kinds of tourists, not just day trippers from Christchurch out on their school holidays. It's okay for people to come here and leave no trace, but it'd be better if we could rely on them to help us with our conservation goals. So hunters seem like the natural target audience. Our deer and goat populations need constant culling. And you better believe I've more faith in people who love the wilderness to respect the place than kids up to no good. At the risk of sounding like an old fusspot. Speaking of, let's do what we came to do and grab that photo.
ces rochers là. Les rochers. C'est bon, je les ai photographiés là. De la gueule ou quoi? Un bug. Photographier les rochers. Oh moi je chasse pas pour l'instant, je fais une mission.
Ah non, putain.
Ah, je vois pas en fait c'est quoi leur délire. Photographier les rochers, ouais, je veux bien. Mais... ça marche pas la mission là. Voilà, alors, pourquoi pas.
Lovely
Ah
use
bah,
of lighting. I may have to hire you to help out on my next book project, if I ever finish the current one. There's a lot of theories about where these boulders came from.
C'est ma nouvelle
Volcanic
arme,
activity,
la
lightning,
nouvelle.
even aliens. I've heard them all over the years.
La 30
The boffins will tell you they were formed over 60 million years ago on the sea floor, like pearls.
Ouais, trop bien.
But that's not the whole story. When people first arrived in New Zealand, they took their staple crop with them, kumara, otherwise known as sweet potato. Unfortunately for them, the weather in this part of the country isn't exactly conducive to growing much, and the tubers withered and died.
Pas mal de gibier quand même.
So they sent word to the Polynesian homeland, and a canoe set sail with a hardier crop. But it was caught in an intense storm just off the east coast.
Ah ben, 4 facile.
Each wave that struck it was so large that it made a new hill. Those are the ones you'll see further inland, and all of the cargo went overboard. And that's what these boulders are. Petrified kumara, eel baskets, calabashes. The canoe itself formed the reef further up. Moral of the story? Things have long shelf lives. A lesson I wish someone had taught those kids. Right, feeling warmed up? Good. It's time for you to show me what you can do.
Bon, je vais faire quoi? Au plus près, déchets sur votre page.
Camera on? Then you should have everything you need.
Mission disponible.
I got Josh to set it up. He told me to tell you that it's state-of-the-art, equipped with Wi-Fi, so any footage you grab is automatically uploaded to our server. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I guess I'll be able to see it on here.
Ah, t'as
No
vu?
pressure then.
Le bruit de la 7 mm qui a changé.
There's good hunting in the whole of this area.
ouais?
Ouais.
From up around where you cleared out the props
Ah
earlier
bah, en
to
fait, il
closer
fait
to
moins
the
de
beach.
résonance, il claque mieux,
Take
tu vois.
your pick.
Clac.
Ah,
But just one thing. You want it to show up nice on camera, so no minnows.
je sais pas si je peux péter.
Try for something at least 30 kg. The larger the better. Should be no problem for a hotshot like you. No word
même
back
la
from our
300.
friends in Hollywood regarding the props, by the way.
Ah ouais.
Ouais,
My
C'est-à-dire
guess
même
is that some
Cassiator et
townie
tout.
thought it'd be a hoot to grab them for their crib.
ça j'ai déjà remarqué, nous on avait
But I'm
trop de
not
bruit
keen
par
on the
rapport au
idea of
PC.
someone wandering around when we're supposed to be closed to visitors. Anyway, nothing you need to worry about right now. Just focus on those killer shots.
Mission, bonjour. Prélever un animal de plus de 30 kg.
wonder if these are the most studied rocks in the whole world. Gotta be up there with Uluru and Balanced Rock. Feral pigs may look all cute and cuddly, but you get on their bad side and you'll get nothing but a sore rump for your troubles. And they're voracious feeders too, so no need to ask for my permission to shoot on sight.
Pareil, quand t'as les jumelles, tu peux plus courir quand tu vises avec les jumelles.
Ouais.
Ouais.
Ah ouais.
Oh, il y a une bête là. Porc sauvage.
C'est pas plus mal.
Trop très facile. Il est mort. Un coup de 300.
Tu l'as acheté ou tu l'as pas acheté la nouvelle arme là?
Non, non, j'ai pas essayé.
Merde.
Not to worry. We'll fix that one up in the editing process. A lot of people around here think that hunting's heyday peaked in the 70s and 80s. Back when you'd get scores of daredevils out in helicopters gunning down deer 3 at a time. That's not the done thing anymore, for a whole host of reasons. But these days we need hunters more than ever. And I'm glad I have you on board to help us show the world that. You've got a fan here, Hoa. Josh gave me a hand posting some footage from your hunt to the reserve chat group, and it caught the eye of our resident sharpshooter, Melanie Murphy. Melanie's the one who taught me to hunt. She's retired now, but back in the day she worked out on those helicopters with the best, or worst of them. Tough as nails and with a sharp tongue to boot. We had a bit of a falling out 25 years ago. One of the choppers came down with us in it. That's how I injured my leg. I won't go into it, but we should never have taken off that day, and Melanie knew it. Well, these days we're cordial to each other, but not much else. Anyway, my mum always told me to let bygones be bygones and all that. Melanie's a better hunter than I'll ever be, advanced age notwithstanding. So I'll do my best to pass on whatever I've learnt from her grants. You're welcome. Right, back on track. Sorry to ask again, but I need you to do me a favour. No, it's not more cleaning up, don't worry. Get to the outpost I've marked on your hunter mate and I'll explain on the way. I grew up here, just west of the mountain range. We were a small community of outsiders living in sync with nature. No running water and only whatever electricity our generator could provide. People from down in the local town used to call it a hippie commune, but I've never liked the term. It was about sustainable living first and foremost. We weren't just there to not shower and sing Kumbaya all day. So when I say the place is part of me, I mean it. Mum's family can trace their lineage here to the 14th century, and we've accumulated a lot of stories over the years. Some of those are about an animal that holds a special place in my heart. Pākehā, I mean European settlers, released moose here about 100 years ago, and there haven't been any confirmed sightings since the 1950s. But I swear to you, I saw one when I was little, staring straight at me out of a hazy morning mist.
c'est
Ever since then, I've been determined to prove that they're still here. Even written a book about it. Or am writing a book about it, I should say. I can't give it the conclusion it deserves yet. I don't hold out much hope anymore. But I've got a few trail cameras scattered here and there. Usually just throw up deer herds and the occasional teenager behaving badly. But they're pretty low maintenance. One of them got knocked over and the battery's completely munted. So I'd like you to switch it out if that's not too much trouble. It's on the way to our next filming destination.
Oh, c'est quoi tout ça là-bas? Trop très facile. Ok.
Hidden to the outpost. There should be a battery pack on the table. I've been meaning to get out there for ages, but then my legs started acting up again. Nice to have the help.
bête là.
Cheers. That should keep it going for another few years. Can you check the other cameras while you're here? Might give you some stalking suggestions, if nothing else.
Wesh, tout ce qu'il y a, bâtard. Putain. Dégagez bien.